Yes. Now, when it comes to, reducing on the cost of production on our farm, there is one of the major factor that we must always consider. And this factor, if we're told, if at all we manage it very well, that means we are going to save a lot of money. Guys, in my topic today, we are going to discuss how to reduce feed costs. Yes, as I told you that one of the major factors of production on our farm, we shall need feeds if at all we are going to produce on our farm. Be it broilers, be it layers, be it local chicken, you will need to feed your birds. And 90% of our production or the money that we incur into the business goes on feeding. That is 90%. But most people, as I told you, that poultry is a game, and once you learn this game, that means you will thrive. But most people have really failed this game simply because they don't know what to do exactly. More so when it comes to feed costs. Yes, because our main issue are the costs of feeds. If the cost of feeds are really high and we are buying on a higher price, that means all our profits will be gone into feeding the birds. And that's really where it's really stressful for the farmer. If at all they are not making any profit, or if at all they are making little profits, at least 70% should be in feeding. There you can get some good income or profit out of your production. So now in this video, guys, we want to discuss on the ways how we can reduce the feed costs on our farm, so that we can actually get a lot of profits at the end of the day. So guys, I'm going to give you 7 points or tips on how you can reduce feed costs on your farm. Point number 1, how you can reduce feed costs. Have a cheap formula or feeding formula. Yes. So guys, if you want to reduce on the cost of production on your farm, make sure that you formulate or you get a very cheap formula. Guys, I told you about how to formulate these formulas, feeding formulas. I'll put a link at the end of this video. You will just tap in case you missed that video. I made a video explaining about formulas, formulating our own formulas. So I discuss a lot of things concerning that. So just go and watch that video. So you need to formulate your own formulas. Why? Because if you're formulating your own formulas, you will get a cheap formula that is not too expensive for you. Yes, do not worry about the percentage you are laying on, because most farmers, what they do, their concern is on percentage. They want their birds to lay at 95%, 98%, and they don't care how costly that may be. But you should not consider about the percentage. All you need to consider, because at the end of the day, it is not the percentage that we consider. At the end of the day, we consider how much money did you really earn, or did you save. That is what really matters. Even that is one of the logic when it comes to wealth creation. It doesn't matter how much money you earn, but what matters is how much you keep, because a lot of people they really earn a lot of money, 30 million, 40 million, and at the end of the year they have nothing, So it does not matter how much money you earn. What matters is how much you keep. So even in production, it does not matter the percentage your birds are really performing on. What matters is the income that you get after production, because there are people whose birds lay at 75%, and there are those people whose birds lay at 95%, and these people earn a lot of income compared to this. Why? Because these people are using expensive formula to feed their birds, whereas this one, they use a very cheap formula to feed their birds, and their birds are performing. And at the end of the day, these people, whenever they feed their birds, that means all the income will be going into feeding these birds so that they can maintain this percentage. Yet they are not earning anything. Yet this one, they are not producing on a higher percentage, but their income is good and they are saving a lot of money. That is the logic behind when it comes to formulating our own feeding formula. There you will save, because there are people who buy 1 kilogram at 1,500 shillings. Another one, they buy it at 2,000 shillings. Another one, they buy it at 1,200 shillings. You see, there is a very big difference. You may find that this one who buys at 1,200 is producing at 80%. This one is producing at 95%. This one is producing maybe at 90%. You see? But you find that you find scenarios when the one who is producing at 80 and is having a cheap formula is saving a lot of income compared to these people. Why? For him, he knew what to do. He knew that it's not about the percentage that your birds are really laying on. What matters is the amount of money that you save at the end of production. So that is really what matters in this game. So that is point number one. Point number two, how to reduce the cost of feeds on our farm. Point number two, know how much a kilogram costed you. Guys, this is also one of the tips on how you can reduce on the feed costs. Why? Because in most cases, I have interacted with so many, farmers in my inbox, and I ask them, how much do you really buy your kilogram? And they really don't know. Really, it's really amazing. I tell you, if you don't know how much a kilogram costs you on your farm, I am telling you that you are on your way to downfall. And you will not succeed in poultry. That is the bad news I have for you. But if at all you change and start following these things, you are going to see a very big, difference in your production. You must know the cost of a kilogram that costed you, because when we mix up these feeds, we must know that how much did I buy 1 kilogram. For example, if I'm buying maize, bran, whatever, broken maize, soya, concentrate, and I buy them all at, let me say, they costed 500 Ugandan shillings. 500 Ugandan shillings. All the ingredients that I have mixed. So how do I know the cost of 1 kilogram? It is very simple. You just get the money that you've bought all the ingredients together. When you add them together, added all that money together, and you divide by the number of kilograms that you've really mixed up. Maybe you've mixed 500 kilograms, so you just divide by 500, and you will know how much a kilogram costed you. So that is one. That means 1 kilogram costed you 1,000 Ugandan shillings. That means 1 kilogram, you bought it at 1,000 Ugandan shillings. That is the very, it's very simple to know how much a kilogram costed you. But if you don't know that I have bought 1 kilogram at 1,000, you will not know how you are feeding your birds and the expenditure that, one bird is consuming. So that is how we know how a kilogram costed us. Number three on how to reduce feed cost is also know daily feed consumption. Know daily feeding consumption per bird. What do I mean? Know daily feeding consumption. What do I really mean? Again, I have interacted with farmers, and they really don't know how much they feed their birds on a daily basis. And they don't know that this bird is consuming this amount of feeds per day. But you have to know that, because we feed these birds depending on weeks, on a weekly basis. Week 1, they will feed this amount. Week 2, this amount. Week 3, this amount. Until they stabilize, because they reach at a level and they stabilize, because the graph is like this. When they start from day 1, chick mash, the bar will increase like this. The bar will go like this until it reaches at a stable. It stabilizes to normal. It keeps on increasing through chick mash, through grower stage, until they reach maturity. And through maturity, they now stabilize. They stabilize. For example, laying birds, local chicken, they consume 80 grams per day. Each bird. So they stabilize. And also when it comes to layers, they will consume 120 grams per day. They will also stabilize when they reach maturity. So you must know that at this stage, my birds are really consuming this amount of feeds. If you don't know that, I'm telling you, you are going to spend a lot of money on feeding these birds. Because, you know, I interacted on one of my farmers, and I really, you know, got shocked. They were feeding chicks 130 grams per day. One chick like this, 1 month old, 130 grams. That is way too much. You are just feeding them on your profits. And at the end of the day, when you sell these birds, you will not earn anything. Why? Because all the profits you fed, your birds fed them. Yet these 1 month old birds, you know, 1 month old, they feed around 35 grams. So do you see the difference? 35 grams to 130 grams. That means all your profits have gone, and you are just, you know, you are in business for nothing. Yes. So at the end of the day, you will shout, poultry is not good, it's not lucrative, you know, we've struggled and we've not, you know, so you will talk a lot of bad things about the business, yet it's you who is the problem. Point number 4, buy when prices are low. Buy when prices are low. What do I mean? You know, in tropical rainforest, you know, tropical countries, for example, it's more so in Africa, actually, not Uganda alone, but in Africa at large. So we have 2 seasons. We have the rainy season and the sunny season. That means during rainy season, farmers are sowing, you know, they are planting their plants, more so maize, whatever. They are in garden. But in sunny season, that's when the harvest starts. So now, right now we are in rainy season. That means farmers are, you know, they are planting their crops, and we don't have maize on market. That means the prices are really high for those who stored the maize and they kept it for a period like this. So they will sell this maize on a higher price. So the prices are really, you know, they have hiked. So what do you have to do? When you have the money, when the prices are low, just buy your maize, store it. That means by the time the prices will be high, you will be good to go. You have your feeds already. Maybe you stocked for 4 months prior, 3 months prior. That means during that period when the prices are really high, you will be good to go, and you will still produce at a low price. But right now, most farmers are really closing their farms because they cannot manage the pressure. The pressure is too much, stress is too much, because they are not earning anything. Why? Because all the money is now going back to feeds. So that is the, you know, the logic behind why farmers during this period close, because they don't have money to buy feeds in advance and store it. So when this period comes, when this period comes, the period of frustration, what most farmers do, they just offlay all their birds, they sell them and close the farm until when the prices are really down, and they go back to business. So that one is not good. And by the time you come back, your customers, you know, your clients would have found someone else who is consistent in production, and you will come back when you don't have customers. So point number 5, how to reduce the feeding costs. Yes, debake your birds. Debake your birds. What do I mean? You know, when these birds are not debaked, you know, their beaks, they keep on, you know, spearing. They spew the feeds when the birds are not debaked, when the mouth are not debaked. So make sure that you debake your birds so that there is a little spillage of the feeds. Because when they eat, you know, they want to take a lot of feeds, and at the end of the day, they will end up spilling these feeds. So make sure that you debake their mouth for better, you know, for low spillage, so that they do not spoil the feeds during feeding. So point number 6, have enough feeders. Have enough feeders. Have enough feeders. Why? We need to have enough feeders to avoid competition. Remember, when you don't have enough feeders, these birds will compete for feeds because the feeders are not really enough for them. So they will always run, you know, to compete for the feeds. and you end up losing a lot of feeds on the floor. So make sure that you have enough feeds at least spread in the, in the poultry unit. Make sure that you have enough feeders there, at least there you will not have too much competition on one feeder, because in most cases you find like one feeder is being, one feeder serves around 50 birds. That's really ridiculous. One feeder must serve 30 birds. But I always encourage people that at least let one feeder serve 20 birds. There you will not have that too much competition. Yes, if at all one feeder serves 20 birds, you will not have too much competition in your poultry house. And you will save way a lot on feeds. Why? Because they will not spill them. They will not compete for the feeds. And at the end of the day, they spill them. So, point number 7, manage your farm well. Yes, you must manage your farm. Why? Because if you don't manage your farm activities, that means your workers will steal from you. Most workers, they cheat you. They steal your feeds and they sell it to other farmers. Especially when you don't care, when you are not around. So they will do a lot of things on your farm. So make sure that you manage your farm very well. The farm activities, you must know the feeding time. You must know how much you stock the amount of feeds that you've really stocked in the storage, and you have to follow up each and everything. Because if you don't follow up, that means they are going to cheat you and you will not know. So they will tell you that maybe you bought feeds for 1 week, and they will tell you after 4 days that the feeds are really done. Just because you don't know the feeding consumption of your birds. So you will also accept and buy another feeds. Yet the feeds for another 3 days, they sold it off. So you have to make sure that you know. Guys, that is for today I have for you. See you in my next video. And if it's your first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up nail, guys. Yes, first pause and give me a thumbs up nail if at all I have been, speaking sense. So it is really ridiculous to leave a video without giving it a thumbs up. Why do we really ask for likes? It's not that we eat these likes. No, they are not meals that we feed on. But if you like the video, that means the video will be pushed to other people, to watch the video, because, YouTube knows that this video is useful. Through liking it, they will know, oh, this video is useful, and they will push it to other people. Even if the video is good, it has good content, without likes, they will not push it. They will know that maybe it is trash. They will just put it in the trash. So if you like, guys, it's very good for the video. It will keep on circulating through other people who also need this information. So don't be very selfish, because I myself have not been selfish to you. See you guys in my next video. God bless you. Share.